So, what'd you
I
think?
got like 10 million achievements. Jesus. Um, I liked it. I wasn't like I had genuinely tried to stay away from spoilers and like descriptions of the story. So like I knew like kind of like I knew basically what I knew from Halo was from RBB. So like I genuinely this flood was a genuine surprise. Like I had
Awesome.
no idea that that was a part of the
Oh,
game.
I was hoping
So
for that. I really was.
that was a little bit of a shock. So the screaming and the what the fucks that was not for the camera. That was
Uh,
completely legitimate. Um, and maybe it's just because like maybe it's more I don't know like the one thing that they kind of do what they do in Destiny in that they don't really explain a lot of the backstory. Like you're kind of thrust into the middle of the game,
mhm.
and they kind of explain the story as they go, but they don't really explain a lot of the backstory. So like I don't. Are you supposed to know like who the Covenant is and like why they're fighting? Like why we're mad at each? Like is that supposed to be
Uh,
um? Is
I
that
don't
supposed
think
to
so. I
be
mean,
like something that you're aware of?
this was the first foray into the whole universe and everything. So
Yeah,
I don't know
and I
how
guess like
much they
from
actually
an
had written up at the time, but I
yeah,
mean, obviously, like,
I
if
guess
you want
that
to know, you
kind
can
of
look it up. Sorry.
I I mean I think that'd probably be the only thing that was like a negative is just because like I spent the first couple of missions like going to like wait and like because they would kind of throw terms and like references to like the I forgot what one of them was, but I know like at the very beginning, like when Kaze and Cortana are talking, like they mentioned something, and it's like they and it sounds like it's something that you're supposed to know. Like like if we're having a conversation about the Civil War and like like talking about Abraham Lincoln, like we as people, because like we grew up with what that battle is, like what that part of our history is. So it's like you don't like a really small reference and everybody knows what it is, but like if you haven't explained that part of the history for the viewer, then like throwing that out as kind of a casual term, it's like I don't. What the fuck are you guys talking about? Like I don't know what you're talking about, and that kind I didn't. That's
Well,
probably the only thing that really bothered me. Like after like
okay.
once it got to the flood, and from then on it was really like I really liked it because I think then everybody was kind of on even footing because it wasn't really about like you versus the Covenant. It was like about everybody like me like what the fuck is happening. Um, but yeah, I guess that's my only like kind of, and that was something that I kind of experienced like the first time I played this in the first couple of missions, like where where Cortana Chief and Kaze are talking about like the battle with the Covenant and like the great something or other like, and it's just like I don't know what any of these things are. Like this is my first foray into this game and I have no idea what any of these things are, and you're talking about these like I should know, but if this is like the first title in the game and if you've never read any of the like, and this was literally the first title in the game, like I know probably like if you read the stories or played the other like Reach or
There weren't
ODST or the other
really any
games.
stories before this game came out.
Yeah, no, exactly. But it's like I mean, if you're playing this later after reading all of that, like that makes sense. But that's not.
I was gonna
I don't know.
say,
Personally, that's
especially as to
not.
that first point you
Yeah.
pointed out, like towards the beginning of the game, a lot of that is kind of covered in Reach, since, like, I'm sure
Yeah.
you knew it is a prequel, and so
Well,
yeah.
it's just funny because after
So
playing a lot of Destiny, Destiny has kind of the same problem. And I mean, I guess like from a narrative standpoint, like it is really interesting because, especially like in Destiny, like you are kind of a grunt, and you're not Cade or I cannot call him by his normal nickname. Like you're not Kate or Ikura or anybody that's like actually like important and on like all of these really important details in meetings. Like you are just kind of the frontline soldier. So it's like you don't need to know about the history of Oryx or the history of the Fallen or the history of anybody or like why or all of these like kind of intricate interactions with each other because it doesn't matter because you're a soldier. But it's still like it's still there if you want to read about it. But like they're not gonna like generally like when you have a conversation in battle, like the guys are gonna be like, okay, so now we have to have a history lesson and talk about like Oryx. But it's still there like if you want to find out. So like I think that might just be a Bungie thing, and that's how they tell stories, and it is kind of interesting. Like it does kind of like thrust you in to that soldier's position, but I feel like it does better in Destiny because like you literally because like in the beginning of the game like you're dead and you wake up and it's like boom, this is your new world now, and fuck you, we're not going to explain anything. Now here's a gun and go shoot things. And
Right.
it kind of works for the setup of that, but for this, like the character that we play is like what 30, like in his 30s, like late 20s, early 30s, like he's had his entire life to know about the history of the world that's happening. Like he's grown up with it. Like this is the history that he's learned. So like he shouldn't be as clueless as we are. Like he should kind of understand. So it's like we should be a little bit like does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just not a story because I like kind of at least being somewhat in the know. Like even if it kind of makes characters think like act like you are a dumb person because they're explaining everything to you, but it's like I don't literally know like I don't understand what's going on, and like later on I feel like they can be like a little bit more subtle and kind of like do like throwbacks to history, but like literally in the first mission of the game I shouldn't be like, wait, what are the Covenant like wait, why are we fighting? Like even if they had like thrown up like a title card kind of like Mass Effect does to at least like explain to at least like kind of explain like what the history was, like where you're starting from, might have made a little bit more sense because it's like I don't even know like why I'm in green armor and why I'm like 7 feet tall compared to everybody else. Like what I wish that there was more explanation, I guess is, and that might just be a Bungie thing. I don't know. I guess it's good that I don't have to wait like what was it between Halo 1 and Halo 2, like
3 years.
A year and 3 years. Yeah, I don't have to like wait 3 years. I can just like I could sit here if I wanted all night and just play through all of it and maybe get a little, or I could like sit here and wiki all of it and get a little bit more of an explanation. But it's still like I don't know. And I didn't play a lot of. When did this come out? Like 2000?
That's one.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like Halo. Like the original Halo came out in 2000. I'm trying to remember like what I was playing.
2001.
And, like what other games were on the market that I was really aware of. So I don't know if that was just kind of like the storytelling trend too. Then like I don't. Yeah, like I'm not sure like how much of it is just the era of time, and now that like we have smarter, more capable engines that can like have like 20-hour games if they want, if just like storytelling has changed over time. Like I'm not sure, but just yeah. But no, it was good. Like I definitely started liking it much better like after the flood, because then it kind of everybody was a little bit more on the same pace about how confusing everything was. Like, it got a lot more hectic, I guess. But
right, okay.
And I legitimately did not expect the flood. That was a true surprise. That was that I was not expecting, like, because everything I've seen from Halo has been like sci-fi, like the elites and the hunters and the grunts, like sort of that thing. Like I wasn't expecting fucking zombie body horror evil shrubs from hell. That that was not what I wanted. Oh my god. But yeah. But no, it was good. I had a lot of fun. And it's definitely kind of fun playing a game that influenced so many other games that I played, and is so like other games that I played. Like, it's kind of like the Seinfeld effect, like where like you watch Seinfeld, and you're like, oh, that's so outdated, and like everybody has done that. And it's like, but Seinfeld's like the one who originally did that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool, like playing a game that started like a lot of the trends that I'm used to playing in games, or started like a lot of the things that I have kind of gotten used to and that I kind of take for granted. And it's weird to think that before this, like that just wasn't really a thing in video gaming. Because I didn't play a lot. Like 2000, jeez, how old was I in 2000? I was like 11 or 12. So, like I had an N64, but I didn't really play like a ton of. I was more into like RP. Like I know, like I was into Legend of Zelda. Played a lot of Ocarina at a time. Um, but I wasn't like really into this sort of gaming until like I got into Mass Effect, and that was like after I was in college, basically. So
Right.
like after I was in high school. But yeah, no, it was good. I'm looking forward to 2 and beyond, and apparently me and Bed actually are going to play 5. And she said that she wasn't going to say anything till the very end, and then she was going to ask me what I thought, and then she was going to tell me what she thought, which is probably going to be like a whole hour in and of itself.
That could be an entirely separate stream, probably.
we'll just have a podcast. That should be like the Bravo podcast. It's like, let's talk about Halo feelings. Let's do that.